Once again, we are here. We are gathered. And something different, doing a live on a movie review. The movie review is The Joker. Hopefully, we can get some people to come in so then people can ask maybe questions and then I'll start, diving into what I think about this particular movie. I'll give it some time, as always. Hopefully, some of the regulars appear and we can get this thing popping. But yeah, I picked it up on Friday. Didn't get to it till Saturday/Sunday, and a lot of people, it's been mixed reviews. I'll say this from brothers. Brothers probably say they don't like it. Some brothers. I done heard a lot of Europeans say that they actually do like it. I probably would say I find the movie, it has a lot of hidden agendas, and if you're not really paying attention to it versus watching the topical movie, like, why this dude's crazy, this dude's stupid. No, you gotta look further. You gotta look beyond, what they're portraying on the screen to, see what the underlying story is. So I'm gonna wait to see if some people pop. Okay, Joe Frank, you says, for real, bullshit. You said, Lisa Smith said, hey, Reek, got a little minute. Now, Joe Frank, you said, now, bullshit. Now, what do you think about it? Are you siding? Do you agree with the movie as being good, or do you agree that the movie's not good? That's what I want to know first. And then I'll weigh in what I actually think about the movie. And if you got something to say too, Infamous, you can go ahead and say something too. I watched the movie from back to front. I kind of got a good idea what type of story they're telling within it. And it could be applied to many walks, various walks of life. You just got to marry the right type of ways of looking at it to understand it. And if you want to call in, we can do that too. Matter of fact, I'll go ahead and post a hotline so people can call in if they want, versus trying to type a whole bunch of things like, let me put up the hotline. Let me see. Matter of fact, let me make sure the hotline is able to be accessed because I know if I don't do this other feature, it won't work. Let me see. Survey says now it should be accessible. Now we got some more people weighing in. I know people's probably getting the notifications a little late. I haven't really, dived into it. I want, some people to actually come in and help me shape it. What areas that they think that it was, you know, um, it didn't make sense or whatever. And depending on your response, I'll make it make sense. If you actually got a chance to see the Joker, because I'll say this: if you look at it, all superheroes or whatever, I don't call Joker a superhero, but all traditional superheroes, essentially, you could look at them as law enforcement. And all the anti-heroes or, people that are deemed as villains, they could be looked at as the regular everyday Joe. You said you watched a couple of weeks ago. Okay. Now we got more people chiming in or weighing in, or I won't even say chiming in. What's going on, James? You said it was really different. Yes, it's not. See, the thing is, it was not like a traditional movie that you would think as being, of of a DC comic or whatever. It's untraditional. A lot of people went into it thinking like, oh, I think of all the previous Jokers, you got to throw that type of mindset out. How I look at it as this particular Joker was portrayed as a cocoon, and he starts from a cocoon, then he goes to a caterpillar stage, and or let me switch that up. He's a caterpillar. He goes into a cocoon stage, and the cocoon stage is him, working through, his transformation. And essentially, the butterfly stage is like he became the Joker. But you got to understand all these transitions. If you see at the beginning what's going on, Choice, you the main reason why I made this particular topic for the Joker, because you like, Reek, I didn't like it. Matter of fact, I done had my own pops reach out to me. He's like, I didn't like the movie. I didn't understand it, but I couldn't weigh in on it because I didn't see it. But now that I have, viewed it for myself and seen what different interpretations they were taking within it, I'm able to weigh in on it. So if you can actually call in, Choice, since you said you seen it and why you didn't like it, that will give me a better reference to speak on certain different themes that happen within the movie. If you're able to call in, or anybody for that matter, anybody, you don't have to be fearful. Just like, oh, Reed, yeah, I seen it, and this is my take on it. This is why I felt, such and such way, and I'm gonna weigh in with the things that I don't think the masses have seen within this particular movie. So actually, we got four regulars in here. We got Choice, we got Lisa Smith, we got James, we got Joe Frank. Okay, you seen it twice. Okay, now you seen it twice, James. Was it good to you or was it not good to you? I'm just trying to understand what takes are everybody getting from it. If you, like I said, if you're trying to watch it from the aspect of previous Jokers and then weighing on it, yeah, you be like, I didn't understand it. It didn't follow the theme. I didn't get it. Fabulous movie. Okay. Now you say fabulous. Okay, hold on. I think that's Choice right there. Choice. Hold on a second. What up, Choice?
What's going on, man?
What's going on now? Now tell me why you didn't like the movie, and then I'll break into what I think about the movie.
I mean, me personally, I didn't like it because it seemed like they was trying to like downplay like mass shooting. And it seemed like they wanted to glorify like like the crazy things that he was doing, like. But you know what I'm saying? Like if it was somebody else that was like melanin, they wouldn't look at it like that. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like it's okay for them to do whatever they want to do, and he had this little mental issue and everything else. Oh, we got mental issues all through our community, but we don't get no empathy. It's like that's why I like. It's like they put that out there like that. You know what I mean? And that's like I didn't want to portray it to people. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I got from it.
Now wait a minute. I don't know if this is jokingly, but James said, "Speak up."
Okay. Um, I was just saying that it made it seem like it made empathy for men having a quote unquote psychological problem. But like we don't get no empathy. We have mental issues all through our community. We still two competitors and thugs and yada yada yada. But dude, real life shot somebody in the face on national TV. Like come on, man. Like it's not the way they tried to portray it. Like I ain't like it. It wasn't authentic.
No, no, I got a different take on it. I mean, to me, they paint that take so you can have that take, like you're saying. I seen beyond that. Think about it like this. What was it? What's that movie called? It came out not too long ago. the last movie where it was like based in Egypt and all the actors were white, and the was it The Last Gods, or what was it called?
Okay, yeah, it was supposed to be about the Egyptians, but it was all white.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you got to look at.
I ain't see it. I ain't see that movie.
Okay,
I
well,
ain't see that.
look at the Joker in that type of fashion. Like that can be the black man, and when I say that could be the black man, is okay. Mental issues. You know, you're saying that how you looked at it. They viewed this person having mental issues. Well, we know us brothers and sisters have mental issues. If you go all throughout the community, you can find people with mental issues.
Yeah, yeah,
So look at it
yeah.
from look at it from that aspect. Like, okay, he's doped up. Now, depending on what stage of life, some brothers and sisters, they try to in schools. Let's say for schools, oh, ADHD, you're too hyperactive. We need to put something on this kid to kind of calm them down because we're not used to this much energy, or whatever. So think of it as a kid being on Ritalin or whatever, forever long, and he gets in adulthood and he's barely making it. He's working a job that really is not a career; it's just a job. Um, but he's struggling because essentially he's on dope all the time, and he has to go to uh, see different doctors and things to see what his mental state is and things like that. So essentially, with the changing world, his you know they're about to cut funding. They cut funding for a lot of programs. A lot of black people have certain programs that helps and aids in the system if you're at that lower end of life, shall I say. So think about it like this: the programs get cut, so that means he's not going to be able to to get medication. So with him not being able to get medication, he's been kind of in a zombie state. The kids taking a sign and beating up on him, and his boss, going in on him about a sign that is non-existent, and he's just kind of coasting through life. He's not going hard, he's not doing anything. But soon as the medication starts to run out, they paint the picture. Oh, he's crazy. Well, really, it's like he's waking up out of this state because he's been doped up so long. He's been fed, this is the American dream and all this kind of stuff. When in actuality, it's like, what? The people that they paint to be, such great people, they're really dirty motherfuckers just like anybody else, you know? And then when he discovered the little letters that, his mother was writing about to I forget, not Bruce Wayne, but I forget his name, the father of Bruce Wayne, and saying essentially like you fathered, you know, the Joker, and all in all, she's been crazy the whole time and all this kind of stuff. Well, in that particular part, I think it could be interpreted two ways. One way, it could be like she was lying, or another way, it could be that he's so wealthy, and once it was discovered that she was pregnant, we're gonna twist the story so it doesn't sullen his name, because he's, a power elite. So, because what would it come out to be? This is whatever's illegitimate child, essentially Batman's brother, because Bruce Wayne is was the guy's son. So that would have been, Batman's brother in a sense, if you think about it like that. And we can't have an illegitimate person coming out. And think about it like this: there's a lot of people, a lot of brothers and sisters know about that. Like, I got brothers and sisters I don't even rock with because maybe my mom done got with somebody and he was married at the time or something like that, and I'm looked out as an outcast because I'm not born out of that union. I'm born out of something else. You know what I'm saying? So that puts him as a outcast or a black sheep, shall I say? So essentially, like I said, once them pills start wearing off, he's starting to see the world for what it is. Like when he was on the subway, and he just sees those guys messing with the woman, on the train, and they're being real assholes and fucking with her. To me, his mechanism when he was laughing all the time is like, you know what? I'm gonna laugh to take off, whatever is going on around me. So like when he was laughing on the bus when the little kid was staring at him, the lady was all irate, and instead of the lady maybe lashing out as the little kid, she could just look at him like he's crazy, because he's like he's peeping the situation. Like, well, instead of making it uncomfortable for the little kid, I'll just put the uncomfortableness on me. The same thing with on the subway train with the lady, and the dudes initially started messing with him, but essentially they started beating him like the kids was beating him when they took the sign and everything. And like I said, that's a stage of his coming out of the cocoon, his transformation from a caterpillar to a butterfly. Like, you know what, dude done gave him this firearm, and he's having delusions about what he's gonna do if he ever comes to using it, and he uses it. He crosses the line when he takes their lives. It's like all that built up, taking shit. It's like he ain't taking them no more. Just like think about it like this. When they were playing the news stories, I forget what part where he was listening to the news. And it's like, yes, the trash is building up so much. I think this is after, his boss was, tripping on him about that sign or whatever. And they say, yeah, the trash is building up. We don't know where to put it. And then it goes to the scene of him trying to, he was kicking the trash, trying to get it into the wherever it goes or whatever. But it was so much. And if you think about every scene when they showed him outside, it was like trash everywhere. So it's like almost like a symbolizing, like, we take on so much shit that is bullshit and we stuff it down like, oh, I'm not gonna deal with it. I'm not gonna deal with it. But you gotta deal with it, because if you don't, it's gonna come out in the wrong fashion. Like maybe he didn't have to shoot them dudes. Maybe he could have bossed up on them on a fisticuffs way, but he didn't. He shot them motherfuckers and killed them. So that's a part of I guess to me suppressing all the stuff where think about when his boss was going off on him, he went into a land of delusion. Like he's putting on a smile and, yeah, I just let him talk whatever he's talking about me when he's going to work every day doing his bullshit job. So let me see. I'm trying to think of another part where it may draw questions. Matter of fact, let me make sure I'm looking at these comments.
Here's one question I got that I didn't understand. Why Buddy get inside the refrigerator? Well, like, what was the point of that? I didn't understand that.
Now the refrigerator part, that was after I'm trying to think. The scene that led up before that, before he got in the refrigerator. Was that after he seen his mother in the hospital, I think?
It could have been. I saw it a while ago.
I just look at it like
I
this.
just remember he got in the refrigerator, and I'm like, what is he doing? Like, what? I didn't get that part.
Well, like I said, think about it like this. Remember when after he went to, I think this came after that. He went to, or before that, he went to the, his social worker that he would always see, and you always tell me to bring my notebook and all this, and you don't really listen to me. And she's like, well, I'm initially telling you this is gonna be over with. I'm initially telling you. Remember we said I want to increase my dosage. She's like, you're already on 7 different medications. So, like I said, he kept wanting to push down. It's like shit was cropping up too much to the top. So he wanted to be medicated down. So it's like, I don't want to feel nothing. I don't want to feel any of these thoughts. Even to the simplicity of him being on riding the elevator up to his place. The girl smiled at him and she said a little small thing. I marry that to, brothers fantasizing. We know brothers that fantasize. Man, I'm about to get me a box Chevy on 28s, and I'm gonna be coming through the hood, and I'm gonna be all like this. I mean, it's people that do this. I know people. I know people that fantasize and like they're really gonna do this, and they don't do anything that they're saying, but to keep themselves from being in a spot where they're kind of fucked up in the head because they don't have any of that. It's like they're venting on things that they would want. Just think about it like this. Like when he was in the bed watching the the Late Show with Robert De Niro when he was the talk show host. It's like if you're not paying attention, you think, oh, he really met him. No, it's like he's having delusional thoughts like, if I met this dude that I admire, he would embrace me. But come to turn out, when he wanted to do stand up and do something different with his life, he didn't succeed really in it. So when he's seeing his mother at the hospital, it actually shows a clip when he was performing. He's like, oh yeah, he's in his mind like, I already admired this dude. Now he doesn't show the clip of me, but in actuality, he was clowning him. Like, yeah, look, this he should have listened to his mama. He's essentially clowning him. Like, okay, big me, little you type shit. So, and that's during a period he's facing tragedy, losing his mother, medication wearing off, done got fired from his job and everything. Police looking at him because the events that done came about. So, like I said, it's all in transition. All these things that's kind of cropping up on him. And if you notice, every time he was in delusional state, it would always be like either the blueness from a TV or it'd be like a blue background. So when you see that blue is symbolizing like he's in a delusional state, just like when he was in old girl's crib. It looked like, oh, well, she came to the hospital with him. No, he was hoping someone that cared enough about him would, be with him during those times, but she really wasn't. Just like, oh, this is my place. No, it was her place. And he thought about her so much in the back of his mind, his subconscious, it was like his real thoughts was marrying with, what he's thinking subconsciously. So I don't know. It's just like a combination of things. Like I said, brothers and sisters be having that. If they're dealing with things, people go to a place of delusion. We done seen that. So that's how I looked at it with him. Being in a delusional state about various different things. When you said, oh yeah, he shot dude on a thing. If that was us, that ain't what I'm looking at. That could be us in a different kind of sense. But as far as going to like, oh, you're going to put you in a mental institution. No, they'll just say you did it for out of whatever. But see, think about it. That's why in the movie he carried that notebook all the time, because that signified him being crazy, because he had that. Now, if it had been a brother, he wouldn't have had no notebook or anything like that. That's how they marry that you were delusional because, look, you wrote down all your thoughts, and these are crazy thoughts of whatever you're saying and things. Just like the black social worker, she was looking at it, but she really wasn't looking at it. If it was someone that was really deeply into what was going on with him, they could have nipped all that at the bud. But essentially, this is just a job. They're about to cut my funding. They're going to cut you off. So I'm really not caring really about what's in your book. And you hear what she said. She's like, they don't really care about you. They don't care about me. So that means she wasn't taking her job serious. But what I'm saying, they committed him on the reason of that book. Him carrying that book around everywhere, reading from it. Because you see, oh, let me read this joke from here. Oh, you got to go into the book for the joke? Because he's in a delusional state. Like I said, that's how they marry that. Okay, this person goes to prison, this other person doesn't. Because when they catch the person, he had this on him. He had this on this person. He had that on this person. He was saying this. He was acting like that. For a melanated person, they go like, no, you meant everything that you did. That's just how it was. When they can actually study things, they're like, you know what? They need to actually be in a mental institution because they actually were thinking that, they were living like this when in actuality they weren't.
Yeah, I still don't understand why he got in the refrigerator though. That I don't know. I didn't get that part.
Well, think about it like this: the refrigerator. Now
Was
I'll
he
look.
trying to hide from? Was he trying to commit suicide, or was he like trying to hide from his apartment? Or
No, think about it like this. Remember, I want to say that was around the time. I think it came down to him having like 2 pills left out of all the shit he was on. So you figure you coming off of having, for whoever knows how long he been taking all them drugs all the time to no medication. So what usually happens when a dope fiend is hurting for some dope? They're gonna be doing some shit that ain't normal. So that's how I look at it. Like he just came from the hospital about his mother. Them cops was up on him. He ain't got no pills to pop. He got to go somewhere to, I guess, to cool off. Depending, that's New York in a hot time summer or whatever. So let me just get all undressed and get up in here until I recollect my thoughts. Because you figure when he wakes up, he's in the bed and he gets the call from the show saying, "Yeah, we want you to come on. You know, we don't seen your tape and all this kind of stuff." And you know, it's like almost like that uplifts his spirits. That's his upper right there. Like, you know what? The dude that I admire, I get to go on his show. You know, so he's looking at it as a positive. But once dude starts coming, like he starts coming at him after, you know, the lady next to him, like, you can't make a joke like that, and basically shooting him down. It's like that puts him back on the course. Like, you know what? You know, these people really ain't feeling me like how I built up a picture in my mind. And now I don't remember that this motherfucker really done clowned me. So you know what? I'm gonna go all out. I was gonna off myself because that's what he was practicing when he was at home. He's like, I'm gonna off myself, but essentially, no, I'm gonna off him, and you know, for clowning me, and I'm gonna expose everything how I really feel. You know, instead of tucking down all the bullshit like he had been doing. Just like the preview was when dude came, he said, "Oh, we heard about your mother. That's why we're coming." Actually, he came because like, you know what? I gave you that pistol, and they starting to ask questions and things like that. And he's like, you know what? You're the one. Well, he probably looked at it. You're the one that started this chain of events, me losing my job and all over some bullshit. And he took out his aggression on him. And you know, the little guy, he ain't never really clowned him or anything, so that's why he let him go. Like he ain't never bothered me. He ain't never said a down word to me. Let him go, you know. But this other motherfucker throwing my name under the bus and all this kind of shit, nah. I had to give him his issue.
He gave him his issue.
Right.
He gave him his issue for real. Like I was like, wow. He snapped with the steak knife.
Right.
He snapped with the steak knife.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was in the fan joint with his shank, Joe. He gave him that issue, man, for real. Like,
right.
And little dude was sitting there he was shook. Like he was like just froze. You know what I mean? Like he couldn't move, he couldn't talk.
Right. All you heard was him crying, like, please don't do it to me, because you done killed this big dude viciously. Because you see how skinny it was, but when you crazy and you know, crazy people's power is unimaginable. So he's like, guys, damn, this let me go.
Untapped adrenaline. It ain't even straight. It's adrenaline.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's uncontrollable.
Right.
You know, it's like your mind can't tell your adrenaline to stop pumping.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's real weird. You know, it's real weird. A lot of people take that shit for granted, though. You know what I mean? Like some people blunt you ain't supposed to push.
Right.
It's not. You know what I mean? Especially when like tell you something. Like man, go on with that. You know what I mean? I ain't with the shit. You know, like a lot of times, man, folks be in their ego or whatever. It's like it ain't an ego with them. You know, when somebody tell you don't want this issue, man, 9 times out of 10, you better just fall back.
Right.
Because they're the type of people that's gonna hurt something. You know, they're the type of people that's really gonna hurt something. And it ain't their fault. You know what I'm saying? It's just they got an issue they can't control. You know, they got an issue they can't control. It's like
now let me say this, Joyce. Now, with that being said, when you essentially that's like blacking out. When you say that's like blacking out,
yeah,
that could be deemed as crazy. But most people are like, no, you meant that. But actuality is like you went to a temporary insanity because you did something that, you know, if you were in your right state of mind, you wouldn't have did that. I mean, yeah, you were mad about him, you know, getting you caught up in something, but that doesn't be like, you know what, I need to, you know, jab this up in his head and bang him till he go to sleep, you know, eternal sleep. And that wasn't like a firearm. That was like hands on. That's different. Like you shoot someone, that's different versus he went hands on with him.
Yeah, he did. I don't know if he really felt though. I think it was just like he thought about what dude did to him. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, he wanted retribution.
Right,
you know?
right.
Like like, nah, you gonna F me, so I'm gonna F you, Joe. Like, it was like an eye for an eye type deal.
Right.
That's what I saw. If you could have just let the man walk on about his business, but he was slid to that kitchen. He wasn't trying to have it. He was like, nah, okay.
But like I said, to me, it's like a pile on though. Think about it, like it didn't have to be that major, but he had other things that was piled on top. People clowning him. He was taking all that aggression out on that one situation. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like a person that's passive aggressive. They let people talk whatever, and it could be that one thing that could be minor, like, oh man, you fake or something like that, and they may not go for that and go slashing someone's throat or something, like, damn, why you do all that? And then you get to the bottom of it, it's like, man, he been kind of bottling all this shit up, and it took the wrong word to come out for him to just, go super ham on somebody.
Yeah, you got triggered. Yeah.
Right.
But it's like the dude would have never went to the department. He would have never got killed. If Blake would have never brought him on the show trying to clown him, he would have never got killed. But it's like the way they tried to frame it. It was like a sob story. Like, oh, like he had this building and that. Like he ain't had nothing that a whole lot of people in our community just don't go through. And we continue our lives. You know what I'm saying? Like, cats might not have, insurance and they can't get drugs or they ain't never even been diagnosed.
But see, the thing,
we still try to live through our life.
But Choice, you got to look at it like this. What happened at the end? That shows you what it's about. It ain't about what you. I understand what you're saying from that point of view, but essentially at the end he has an army. Everybody's in war wearing what? Joker clown mask.
Yeah.
So it's like he's the king of all this shit. And when I say the king, because it's like everybody, when they were showing the dude on the news, like, we're sick of the motherfuckers treating us like this. This is why we're doing what we're doing, because of that one person that has jumped off all this shit initially. That's how I look at it. He's like the gang leader. Think about it. Joker's the gang leader. And I look at it like this. Joker is for the underclass, the regular everyday people. Batman, he's the establishment. Think about it. Batman is always with the law enforcement, always with the mayor or whoever. He's on the law enforcement side. And why is that? It shows it at the end. Look, when Bruce Wayne's little, he sees his dad and his mom get dusted off from someone wearing a clown mask. So essentially that make him grow up and be like, you know what? Everybody that's on this and seeming like took my parents' life wrongfully, I'm making a vendetta to go after these type of people. When you look at it from the Joker aspect, I could be this man's illegitimate child and I was treated like shit. You know what I'm saying? And, mother had mental health issues and all that, raised in poor conditions and all that, not loved. I'm trying to do my best and people still shitting on me. So yeah, I'm gonna go bad. He's the anti-hero. It's not like how think about it like this, when he was talking with his mother, like, who's this? She's like, oh, who said he should be a good mayor? Everybody on the TV, the program and the news say that. So it's like whatever they put on TV, you supposed to buy into that. Fuck that. I ain't supposed to buy into that. Because when he actually met this dude in life, yeah, your mother was crazy. Yeah, who are you? What do you want? You want some money? It's like he's dismissing them. But like he said, why don't you ever look in someone else's shoes to see how they're living versus like, no, I'm on this level. Fuck them. No, that's why people be getting killed and dust off, because it's like, you know what? I don't see them as shit. Well, you keep overlooking people when they're in dire need, and it's supposed to be what? Humanity, and humanity is supposed to take care of humanity, then this is what you get. Think about it like this. We always see videos, oh, look, the poor dog was whatever. Or it was a video where it was this guy taking a dog from a homeless man. Like, oh, this dog's in poor conditions. Well, he's homeless. That's all he has. Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you want to help him and get him out of the condition he's in? Oh, that's too hard. I'd rather just get this dog and save this dog. So you're putting animals over human beings.
And you know what? People do that, man. I was sitting up thinking about that one time, man. It's and especially non-melanated people, they care about like dogs and cats more than they care about people.
Right.
Like, don't that make you not human?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's crazy. Like, you know, it's just nuts, man. Like all these folks out here, like on Skid Row in LA and jumped off under bridges and all this, but like your dog got like $1,000 sweater on, you know, or you go get that dog purse that costs like, you know what I'm talking about?
Right.
It's a little dog carrier. Like, that shit costs cash money. You know, like, I don't know how many hundreds of dollars these folks be paying for them little sweaters for their little poodles, but they Versace or something. Like, you don't need that. The dog, like, I don't know. That's just something that I thought about one day. I forgot what I was watching. I think I was watching something on YouTube. I'm just like, that's crazy. I was watching this car show with this chick. I think she's from like UK or somewhere. They got this car, and it's like a Punani or something like that. But it's like a supercar, whatever. But this dude bought the birthday bag edition, and his car got like 7 persons in it. I'm like, who needs that? Like, what is the point in that? You know what I'm saying? Like, and it was a dude that bought it. But I'm just like, I would see a chick buying that. Like, why would you buy this car with all these bags built into it? It had like 7 bags in it. And you know how much birds cost. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, they're like some racks.
Mm-hmm.
I was tripping. You know, I'm watching it, I'm tripping. I'm like, man, that's crazy. You know, it's nuts, you know. But, you know, this is the world we live in. But moving on, go ahead.
Yeah,
so you got a whole totally different view. I knew you was gonna have a different view than I had, though. But you know, I'm kind of biased anyway. Though, you know, it is what it is. You know, I can't. I look at it for what they're trying to say, and it's just like, to me, it seemed like they was trying to program and act like mass shootings is okay. That's what I got out of it. You know, like when Dewey shot dude in the face, like I was like, man, it ain't no way in the world that nobody else could ever get away with nothing like that.
But see, what you just said, you said mass shootings. That ain't a mass shooting. He only shot one person. He only shot 3 people on the train. That ain't mass. That's individuals that he's dealing with one on one.
It kind of hinted at it though. You know, not really. I don't know. It's like they was trying to downplay his criminality. I say that. You know what I mean? Like that's how I look at it. You know, like I understand he's a bad dude or whatever, but it's like the way they framed it. You know, they could have framed. They didn't even frame it like no other action movie. It was kind of like a drama.
Yeah, that's how I think it was supposed to be. Because it wasn't supposed to give the traditional look. Think about all the superhero movies that they got out. They all got the kind of the same thing. That one took a different take that it don't usually take. So that's why I'm saying you got to look at it from that sense of not being traditional. They're conveying. It's to me like this. All movies got double meanings to them. They got the meaning of the person that is not woke. They can watch him like, okay, yeah. They took his girl and now he's fighting to get her back. He got to go through all these ways to get her back. They got the traditional, then it's occult ways. Like, okay, they mean this by it. But by them doing this, it means that. You know, but a person that ain't up on that, they're not going to see that because they're not versed in that, you know?
Yeah, I hear you.
I put in a simple term like this. Think about it like this. It could be someone that's melaninist that watched American Pimp. And you ask them about that movie, oh, that movie was stupid. It was a bunch of about pimps and hoes in there. You're just going to hear it like that versus if you say like it was different people's walks of life They were just speaking on, different things that they done went through life and done seen through life. Because we are able to break it down like that. But a person that just see, no, that every time I hear about pimps, that's what it means. I don't care what they're saying. They're just trying to push drugs and dope on a woman. No, that ain't what it is. It's double meanings in movies. And you just got to peep, what does the other side? If I was in their shoes, what would it be? If it was me, not okay. We know it's this person, because that's what they want brothers to see. Oh, see, you just seeing if it was us, it'd be like this. No, because I look at it like this. Even like shows, a lot of shows before, they have brothers and sisters on it. You can marry yourself being like, man, if I was like this, I would handle it like this. So you got to put it in that perspective. Like if I was came up and didn't have no father, and then I come to find out my father was, pushed me off because he was wealthy and shit, I would take that shit a fucked up way too. Or, they done had me on, like I said, riddling for all this time, and now they're cutting me off because, funding or whatever. They're gonna push it toward, they're cutting out funding for the poor. And essentially, that's why they kept showing all those other people wearing clowns masks. Like, you know what? It ain't just him. It's other people like him that are going through similar situations like that. That's why at the end, they pull him out of the police car and he's all fucked up. And you're like, you know what? This is the dude we've been seeing on TV. He's the one that, fired on these motherfuckers and got all this shit started from, these people thinking we ain't shit. So, like I said, you're seeing the rise at that beginning of, Joker, being coming into his own, versus you're seeing Bruce Wayne thinking what cultivated him to be Batman. Like, you know what? These clowns done dusted off my family. I'm wealthy. Because essentially that's all Batman got. So he don't got no superpowers. He got money. Okay, I got this to do this, gadgets. Matter of fact, he's like Inspector Gadget, go Gadget. He's a glorified go Gadget, Inspector Gadget. He got gadgets to make him do what he do. And
he ain't got no real superpower.
Right.
Yeah, we don't. So in essence, they whole beef is kind of rich versus poor.
Right.
Like.
Or let's even take it further. I know a lot of people may not get this correlation, but I thought of it too. Let's think about Cain and Abel. Cain slew Abel.
Because you said he was like non-legitimate child, like, so that they really is brothers, like.
Right.
That's kind of crazy.
But like if that's a race and you don't know that, you like, I hate this nigga. But then you come to find out that's really your brother. Your father kind of did him wrong. So should you hate him for that? Or should you keep continuing this thought of all this other shit? You know what I'm saying? But to keep perpetuating bullshit.
You gotta take it for what it's worth, though. You know what I'm saying? We blood. I don't care what Pops did. That ain't got shit to do with me and you, know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna ride with you. And, hey, always, hey, man, what you need? I got you. Here you go.
Yeah, but think about it like this. Because remember, Bruce Wayne was a little kid in there. And essentially, Joker was an adult. So he's seeing it from a little kid's aspect. Like, damn, these motherfuckers done dusted off my pops. And it's because of this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? He done changed the course of my childhood, my adulthood because of that.
Yeah, he jaded at that point.
Right.
He done lost his family, and he ain't really got no answer.
Right.
I mean, he just, his people gone. Like, that's all you know.
Right.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy like that.
Because, see, that's what I think. That's why I think it's going to be a part 2 is going to lead off into that, because it's going to make it seem, because they try to make it seem like, oh, no, she was just crazy and all this. I think because he has so much money, they rewrote those reports to favor her to, hey, this is what happened. This is what happened to kind of, solidify like, well, she agreed to all this what happened and she adopted him and all this. No, she had them from, they probably fucked around some kind of way. Once it was found out she was pregnant and all that, like, you know what, we gotta, you're worth so much money. You could be so much thing within this Gotham City. We can't have this. So money makes shit happen.
Yeah, he basically he silenced her
Right.
to a point.
Right.
And he pulled strings to help get her committed. Like, yeah, I don't want to talk, and this, that, and the third. Here go a little something for you. Here go a little something for you. Make her disappear, basically.
Right. So
Which can't happen.
right. So in a way, and that's why Joker's jaded. So they're both jaded in different kind of ways. Like, I never knew I had a father. My mother was damn near crazy from the shit, what our father done did and shit. They done twisted my brain so much reading the bullshit that I ended up killing my own mother. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's crazy.
What else did I? Okay, and the other thing is, like, I didn't really get about the movie that was too far fetched for me. Is like how he got rescued from the squad car. Like, that ain't gonna happen in no real life. Not over here. That ain't gonna happen. Like when you that high profile criminal, like, it ain't gonna be just no one cop car. You know what I mean?
But think about like this. That's why that's
Like,
why it was based in what, 1980, 81. Times was a little bit different back then. Now, yeah, it'd be different. But in that time, that's why, think about it, they based it in certain eras. It could have been based in the 50s. It could have been based in the 40s. But they based it in that time. So you figure it wasn't technology like, well, tracking where people was at. That wasn't, well, I'll say this, it wasn't really in the public hemisphere like that. So that's what makes that believable. Because the time period it was supposed to be based in.
well, maybe to a point, but you just really shot somebody on national live TV. Like, I think they would have looked at that a little different. That ain't just no average crime, no mugging in the street or nothing. Like, you just really did this on TV. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think they would have took that a little different, man. Like,
Nah, because think about it like this. That was like a talk show. Think about talk shows. That ain't going out live to the public. They want to make you think that. They record them like three in the afternoon. I know people that done went to them things. Now, if it was like the news where they're like right on the spot, yeah, that's live because they're right on the street corner reporting the shit right wherever. But that's just at like a talk show, and they pre-record that shit in case someone
what
fuck
I'm
up.
saying is, like, you could compare that to, like, Maury. Like, man, somebody gonna shoot Maury in the face, man, it's gonna be one for. Like, you gonna make it to that cell, or you might not make it, but ain't nobody gonna free you. Like, that ain't gonna happen. Like, that ain't gonna happen.
Think about it like this.
I mean,
You said it ain't gonna happen, but we're looking at in a day and age where they took dude to Burger King to get some Burger King. So nobody would ever thought that happened, but it did. You know what I'm saying? So things like that can happen. I just say it like that. You
and
like
then I guess it just depends on who you is too. You know what I'm
right,
saying? Like,
right,
it depends on who you is, because also we had the first ever robot bombing of somebody that was a U.S. citizen. That ain't never happened before either.
right.
But he was giving their ass so much heat, and they couldn't. They were like, all right, what can we do? They like, let's send a robot with some C4 and just blow his ass up. You know what I mean? Like, ain't nobody never did that before. They ain't did that in Texas when they was taking over the com. They ain't never did that to no citizens. Like that's like some bank robber or terrorist type shit. You know what I mean? But that's what they did. That's the first ever in history that the citizens been blown the fuck up like that.
Well, I won't say it's the first because what do you think? Why they call it? They call them insurgents when they're all over in the Middle East? All was insurgents. Insurgents is nothing but regular people, but they say that to the public to get you to be like, oh, they must have been some people that was in war. No, they're just regular people in their regular neighborhood rising up against people that are not of their land that would be the military, and they're doing whatever to probably get them people out of their area. So that's why they call them insurgents. It's like they don't want to say regular everyday people, or oh, a drone strike done hit and it caused collateral damage. Well, what is collateral damage? Well, they're regular people that got hit that didn't have nothing to do with what they were trying to do. That's why they call it collateral damage, because you done killed a bunch of innocent people, but they can't say it like that because then people were like, "What? You killed a bunch of innocent people?" No, collateral damage. Oh, and people overlook it. So yeah, it been
Yeah,
going down.
people
It
don't
just
really understand it either.
yeah.
People don't really understand it either, but yeah, it's just crazy, man. I mean, everybody gonna watch and get their own outlook on it, but my outlook, that's just what I thought, you know what I
Right.
mean?
That's
Like,
why I
I just
say
feel like,
rewatch it for a different. Just paint it like it's a illegitimate brother from the hood, and think about it like that. I know we can look at it. Yeah, this is white man. He's going through all this. No, paint it like that. Then you see what I'm talking about. You know, because yeah, we could do the easy
yeah,
painting.
not,
Just like I said,
yeah, you right.
just even something simple as this. And I know a lot of probably brothers and sisters and people's grandparents don't watch it. Ten Commandments. That's based in Egypt, but damn near everybody's playing in it is white. But if you know the story, you know, no, this is about black people, and you're still getting it for what it's meant, what the story is meant, even though they got these white actors playing it. You know what I'm saying? Just like Cleopatra. We know Cleopatra wasn't Elizabeth Taylor, but they got her in that role. You know what I'm saying? You just got to erase
Right, right.
who they got up on the screen portraying a person of melon and replace it with the person that you know is really melon. You know what I'm saying? Not that,
And,
Caucasian that they got playing it.
well, I knew you was gonna have a whole different take on it, man. So you like the man to analyze the movies, though. So, like, yeah, it's crazy when you really think about it, the way you talking about it, from the way you look at it, right? So basically, he could have been a brother, but he just a joker,
Yeah.
Like, that's how I kind of look at it.
Right.
But I ain't look at it like that at first. I just looked at it on face value for how they wanted it to be,
Right.
and it's like, I seen shit. I'm just like, nah, I don't like this. I don't like this. It was just too many things that happen in everybody everyday normal life. But it was like, cause it's the Joker, he's special. Like, it's cats to get cut off from healthcare every day. It's cats to lose their job every day. Like, and don't nobody care. Like, this is a cold world. Don't nobody give two shits, man. Like, and I guess that's what I got out of the movie. Like, to
Right.
a certain extent, I
Just like I said, if
uh-huh.
if they recast that movie and it was a brother playing a Joker and in that same situation, you will understand it then. You will understand it. But because they got that person that's Anglo-Saxon playing it, that makes you not understand it. Or you think, oh, they're just saying this. No. Put that with a brother in there. A brother playing that part. And a brother playing Bruce Wayne as a kid and the dad and all that and the black mom. You paint it like that, then you'll understand it. Just like I said.
I think it would have played out differently though. Like we was talking that one day on the previous live. That whole situation in the alley, that would have worked totally different. For one, I probably wouldn't walk down that alley. You know what I mean? And then for two, hey, like, they gonna get that issue. You know what I mean? Like so, it wouldn't have played the same. You know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't have panned out the same way, in my opinion. Like, just like every one of those situations, if that was a brother, depending on who you is, you ain't rocking with it. You ain't rocking with it. Like, nah, you're not gonna clown me on your TV show, bro. Like, I might not shoot you in the face, but hey, like, you're just not gonna say that. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and hear it and let you get away with that. Like, man, who the hell you think you is?
I just look at it like this.
Man,
You
please.
you say you saying it from a savvy brothers aspect, but we know think about it like this. We got some people are players, some people are hustlers, some people are gentlemen of leisure, some people are everyday tricks. Now, if that was a trick brother in there, he ain't gonna play it like a player. He's gonna play it like a trick. So it depends on what type of brother that they're using. You know what I'm saying? So it could have been just an
True,
average
true.
everyday. I just go to school. I look the other way. Or it could be, a brother that's a game banger, and he's gonna, bang that shit out when they trying to do it. It just depends on what type of brother that they're casting, and what type of story they're trying to tell. Like, well, this is a pushover brother, or this is a no holds bar brother. I mean, you got to look at it like that, you know.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. Like dude tripping over the sign and fire. I would have been like, dude, it's a fucking sign. The fuck? What you mean? Like, I got jumped in the alley and they broke it. They hit me with the sign, my dude. Like, I got to lie to you about a sign? Like, how
Right,
much do a sign cost? Like, I mean, like,
right,
you
but
complicated
but
lying, man. Deuces, I'm gone, man. I'm like,
but
get
remember,
out of here with
this
that,
is
man.
this is at the height of him being doped up on shit. So you figure you're carrying out your life on medication. So you're kind of dumbed down because think about it. If you ain't a person that always take dope, as soon as you take it, you kind of in a state of kind of you ain't the same as if you're not on it. Like if you had a toothache and they gave you some Percocet or something, you're gonna be kind of zoned the fuck out. You ain't gonna be like your sharp
Right,
self, you know. So
right. You gonna be zoning.
yeah,
You know, like, like basically, if like somebody off that dog food, they drifting in and out. Like they woke, but they sleep. Like,
right.
you know, like, or if you a cluck, like you super hyper, like, you know, and then like you ain't got it no more. Now you depressed because you ain't got that high no more. Like, so yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and see, I think that's what our youth going through too, man, because these guys be popping hella mollies and Percocet shit, man. It's like
Right.
they do that shit every day. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's what they do, you know. And it's like they not even their regular self because they, you know, certain rappers and everything else that made this shit seem okay. You know what I mean? But really, you promoting our youth turning into addicts. You know, like low key, that's what you're doing. You know, but you want to get your bag off of it, so you don't care. You know, and that's what the label tell you to rap about, or somebody say that's what we want to hear. Like, and it's bad, man. It's crazy. You know, I see cats, man. They don't know how to dress like men. They don't know how to act like men, and they lost. They lost in the sauce, basically. Man. Like it's nuts.
But
You
look
know,
at it like
like
this. This is how I say you can look at from this movie. Like unchecked situations can later grow to bite you in the ass. Just think of the dad, Bruce Wayne's dad. Yeah, I made her go away. I'm safe. I made her go away. I don't have to own up to being his father. I made that go away. I'm running for mayor and all this kind of stuff. I'm essentially cutting all these social programs because we don't need that. Because it's about what the wealthy tells the poor. But what happens at the end? All that shit comes to bite his ass at the end. You thinking you're also wealthy or whatever. No. Simple as coming out of a movie theater. You know what this is about. Yaka pulls her pearls and shoots her too, right in front of that kid. We don't give a fuck. Just like you didn't give a fuck about, cutting these programs and because essentially that's what it was. You cut these programs, you put them all on dope to kind of get them silent. Now you figuring we don't even want to spend for that no more. So we're cutting these programs. They're
you
already
know what?
fucked up. So what do you think's gonna happen now? Motherfuckers was rioting in the street and all that. Just think about like what's going on in the world now. You know what? We're gonna cut food stamps and all this kind of stuff. What do you think is gonna happen? People are gonna start doing desperate shit. You know, not everybody, but the people that's been conditioned to living like that, they gonna start making desperate moves. Hey, you know what that's gonna do?
Yep,
Fill up these privatized prisons. But that's what they want.
yep. That's crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna watch them again, man. You know, I got me a new fit, so I ain't even gotta go bound for my man no more. I just, you know, turn it on, log in, take it out like that. I ain't think six was as cold as they is, man. Six is cold.
Yeah, they are.
Like it's like a little mini computer, man. Like.
Hmm. Yeah, I gotta update mine. I done had one, but I ain't updated, so I can't even do anything with it. So I gotta get it updated, and I'll be on like Donkey Kong.
Yeah, so you know, folks that don't know about them, man, like they worth that little $40, you know, $60, whatever. Like, you know, I took it. I got mine just so I can get cartoon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not for me, but
Right.
somebody else. And then started playing with it. It's like, man, I'm addicted. You know, I'm like addicted. Like for real, like man, like free cable. Man, what I've been missing. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you got the right programs and whatnot, man. Like, yeah, it's a lot on the sticks, though.
Now let me say this. I know everybody been kicked back, but what say y'all? You know, that's why I did it in a live form. I could have just, you know, pre-recorded everything what I felt, but I mean, y'all's in here, weigh in, say something. Matter of fact, scroll through if you want to hit the hotline and, you know, weigh in like how Choice has been weighing in. You could go ahead and do that too. You just gotta look at.
I saw Lisa in there. Did Lisa see it?
Lisa said she's seen it a couple. I think she said a couple weeks ago. Let me see. She said, I think it shows how they close the place and help people, mental institutions and hospitals. Yeah, because they was turning a lot of people out of the mental institutions and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, we got too many people in mental institutions. We might as well start kicking them and having them go into essentially privatized prisons. Because you think about it, mental institution is ran by the state. We don't want to pay for this. We want to cut these programs. We want to go put it into the private sector and let them deal with it. You know, just like think about like certain schools, they started going to charter schools. Why? Because they don't want to have to spend the money towards schools that are failing. They'll put that on, you know, essentially private companies, private corporations. Like, you know what? If you fail, you'll stop receiving certain amounts of money that we're gonna allot you, you know, versus it all falling on us getting the books, essentially different program, and us, you know, providing lunches, us. It's like they're trying to cut costs at every corner, and you can see that with like think about the auto industry. You know, a lot of auto industries are essentially going overseas now. You know, you don't really see a lot of things made in America. You know, it's either made in Mexico or made somewhere in China, or it's not made in America. And if it is, it's very few things. Right. So,
one thing I think about with that is, man, with capitalism, man, it's like I scratch your back, you scratch mine. So, like the 1%, you know, they really, you know what I'm saying, like America's like a corporation.
Yeah, essentially that's what it is.
Hey, but it's a whole corporation, and the 1%, they paying the politicians to make things go their way. So they probably also invested in private prison. So they pushing things to go the way that's going to benefit them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I think. You know, like that's how it all goes. You feel me? Like you scratch my back, I scratch yours. You know, like I'm a billionaire, whatever. So if I live in this state, we're gonna try to influence all the people. You know what I mean? To lean this way. Then we're gonna build this $1 billion prison. You know, then we're gonna employ all these folks, and then we're gonna lock all these folks up.
Right. So people in your little county that ain't barely got any jobs, as soon as we bring that privatized prison, they'll be able to be guards and do little different things around there.
Yeah. And then somebody got to be the victim. You know what I mean?
Right.
Somebody got to be the victim. Then they make laws a certain way. You know, and one thing that really is kind of something I ponder on. Is how when they make laws, it's not like it's like public information, but it ain't public information. You know what I'm saying? It's weird how they do it. You know, like you can go to the courthouse, you know, or you can go to the library and look up statues, but they don't nobody got no like news programs breaking down new statues or this law just passed or that law just passed. Like it's like right now with like so many people that went to jail for marijuana. Now marijuana is legal, but it's people that still serving time for marijuana cases.
Right.
And now they talking about, oh, they passed a law to help supposedly urban neighborhoods or whatever, but who got $1 million just lying around? Like, ain't nobody got that type of money. So you pass a law talking about you want to help us, but then you put more drugs into our community, and yet we can't even afford to open up the dispensary.
Right. Or
so it's the same thing all over again. Like,
or think about it like this: certain housing, like, oh, you just got to make 3 times the rent. And like, you're not saying a person can't live there, but you're saying through their monetary means they can't live there because even if they got enough to make the rent, you're saying they have to make 3 times that. So
right.
Essentially, you're telling them you can't live here because your income is not of a certain standard to meet to live here.
That it's a crazy game, man. It's a crazy game. You know, and like anybody out there, man, that don't know, man, just look it up, man. Find some information on all these things, these topics, man, because it's the real life game that's been playing before our eyes. You know, and if you're not educated, you don't really see it. You don't see what's going on. Like if you ain't had nobody that's incarcerated in your family, you might not think mass incarceration is that big a deal. But it really is. You got millions of people, man. Like millions of people. Like they really just turned people into money. Like slavery all over again.
Yeah, it's been commodified.
Yeah. People in jail working for like 8 cents an hour. If that ain't slavery, I don't know what is. It ain't like they getting paid regular wages. You know what I'm saying? You getting paid 8 cents, 13 cents an hour or something or whatever. And a pack of noodles costs $2. You know how many hours you gotta work to buy 1 pack of ramen noodles? That really only costs probably like 7 cents.
Right.
But the people that's bringing in, distributing all the commissary, the noodles, the Snickers, and all this, it's like probably like 500% markup.
Right.
So they making money hand over fist, hand over fist.
Right.
And you in a box. It ain't like you can go to the store and barter for prices or use coupons or none of that. You in a box. So
now,
if you got it and you want it, you gotta stay.
So like I said, that speaks to the part which I didn't understand the end with, Robert De Niro when he shoots him and stuff. Remember Robert De Niro say, "Oh, you're a low person. You're speaking this me. Sounds like you're complaining about poor me and all this." He's like, "No, you did me wrong too. It ain't just these people. You did me wrong too. Like, yeah, you clown me and you threw up a clip of me, whatever, doing my stand up. And you're making fun of me. And then the only reason you invited me on because you got a lot of ratings, which in turns meaning you got a lot of money off of that, and you see it as another opportunity to get money to essentially because he was steadily clowning him before he turned to flipping how he flipped. Like yeah, that makes one of us that thought that you were funny and all this. It's like, so what about this person? I'm not putting my feet in his shoes. I'll just see you as a low life motherfucker, and that's it, to make money off of you. So that's what he's speaking to. You got to put yourself in other people's shoes, or kind of understand, like, man, they got it fucked up for real. They ain't just up here lying about it or something, or they done dug themselves in it. A lot of the times it was beyond their control when they were a kid. Like, I'm just in the situation. I'm just trying to weather the storm of life as best way I can, But,
Yeah. I I didn't view it the way you viewed it the first time I watched it.
Right.
Like I can watch it again probably and look at it a little different. Like you were saying, try to view it as a melanated person, and then it'll make a lot more sense. But there were certain situations I don't think they would have played the same way, even if it was in the 80s. You know, just because of where we live in. You know what I mean? Where we live at. Like it ain't gonna play the same way for us. You know, it ain't gonna play the same
Well,
way.
think about it like this. This is another good example to make you understand it. You seen Never Die Alone, didn't you? With DMX.
Who was that?
With DMX, it was I think it was a Donald Goins book that is called Never Die Alone. Well, anyways, it was
I might have to look that up.
right.
I might have to look that up.
Well, essentially, this reporter was essentially telling this story about this brother that lived a real harsh life and everything, and it's playing out in the movie, but essentially he's trying to get like an article written in this paper. Well, at the end of the movie, after he tells the story to the editor or whatever, he's talking to a black editor. This is a white guy that's supposed to be writing a story about a brother that done been through whatever. He said, you know what, this was a good story, but I can't publish it because people wouldn't believe it. And like, what do you mean they wouldn't believe it? Because all the things that done happened in there, that's just unbelievable. But he's like, this is a real true account. So essentially, that's the same thing with the Joker. It's like, if you put that in a brother's aspect, certain people be like, no, I can't believe it. Because, it's going to be a whole bunch of different parameters that's unbelievable. That's why I say you got to go probably, that'd be another one to look up on your stick. Never Die Alone, DMX. Watch that. It's the same type of thing. It's like, this can happen. This is all. It's so much unbelievable stuff happening in the story that you're telling me. This possibly can happen, But in certain instances, things like that do happen.
Well, especially with us, man. Like as a melon, man, we do unbelievable shit. Like we done shit that we can survive something that probably no other race could ever survive. From the Atlantic slave trade to everything we can survive up until now. Like, we remarkable people. Like, don't nobody want to give us our credit, you know what I mean? Everybody try to downplay us. But ain't nobody else went through the shit that we went through, and we still standing. So I can believe the story, I got stories of my own. You feel me? Like, people wouldn't believe, but I'm still living. I went through it. I'm still here.
Right.
You feel me? But somebody who ain't went through that, it's kind of hard. You know what I mean? Okay, so me being me, man, I couldn't look at the movie the first time and put myself in his shoes because of my life. You know what I mean? The steps that I done walked in life. Nah, you ain't getting away with that. Nah, that ain't gonna happen. Like I said, it's people with mental illnesses all through our community. And it don't work like that. You're not going to be turned into Jimmy Hero. You just going to look at it as some crazy person. That's how I look at it.
No, I disagree with that because we have that in our own right. Just think about like every community throughout wherever had someone that was the dope boy. And he was winning like a motherfucker. Like, man, that motherfucker got cars all the time. He's always living lavish. Now, some motherfuckers will look at him like, oh, he's a low-life piece of shit motherfucker. But you can actually know this person like, man, that dude's really good at heart. Yeah, he's doing some shit that, some people may not see as, being on the up and up. But, he's all right in my book. You know what I'm saying? So that's the same way you can look at that situation, as how they were painting that story. Someone resonates with that story because they done walked or knew someone of certain light of that. So I look at it for that aspect, Like I said, I look at Batman as being for law enforcement. Every movie that it comes to is about champion law enforcement. Even with Superman, champion law enforcement. Who is he helping? oh, wait a minute, the police are in trouble. We got to help them. You don't never see none of the villains doing that shit. But they want to. Oh, they're bad. Why are they bad? What's the reason why they're being like they're being? They don't go into that story. Oh no, they're just fucking up.
Society say they bad. That's
Right,
why.
right.
Society say they bad. Like, I feel you. I feel you. Like, that make a lot of sense. Especially when you pay attention. I gotta watch it again just to see why he got a refrigerator there. Like, I still don't understand it. Like, you said he was trying to cool off and whatnot, but it's just like, when I saw it, I was like, what is he doing? Like, why is he ripping all his shit off the refrigerator? But he was low-key maybe having a breakdown or something, I guess. Like,
Like I said,
I guess it was.
I think because like I said, him doing them, taking all them drugs. Because remember, she said you're on 7 different medications, and essentially they're cutting these programs. You ain't gonna be on nothing. So usually people get winged off shit. No, they just said no, your shit's cut. So from something to nothing. That ain't usually how it works.
So he freaked out. So he was having a withdrawal.
Right.
Like a major withdrawal. Like that's probably what it was. I would say.
Cause what happened?
It's gonna be a part 2. What you think the part 2 gonna be about, man? You think it's gonna be like all drama and everything like this one was, or you think it's gonna go back to the action?
I think it'll probably dive into the reason that they try to make it seem like, oh no, he was adopted. I think it's gonna go into further like Bruce Wayne or Bruce Wayne's father, their father, kind of sent someone in there to make it seem like she was crazy, and come to find out that that he was the father of Joker and the father of Bruce Wayne. So I think they should dive into that because they were asking him like, you think it's gonna be a part 2, and he was kind of waffling on answering that. So with that being said, I'm thinking it is gonna be a part 2 to it.
So technically, from what we had just seen, Joker is Batman's big brother.
Right.
Basically.
Mm-hmm. Because if you think about it. If you look at even all the regular,
he can have some envy just because he is big brother too, whether he know it or not. Like you always. I mean, you love your brother, but you kind of hate him too because he's older and he gets to do everything, so you get to do it. You wearing his hand-me-downs. Like low key. Sometimes you have envy for your brother, like Cain and Abel. But in this point, it's a whole different level though. Because my brother the police and I'm like the ultimate gangster, like basically, like that's crazy.
Right.
See, I don't really follow comic books like that, so I don't really know the whole story. So I'm really kind of finding out now, like wow, like that's nuts.
But like I said, comic books, or like I said, the story of Cain and Abel. Think about it like that. It's your it's your gangsters that killed our father. It's your gangsters of you living a life of crime versus let's go back further. It's your father that put my mother into a mental institution before you was even around, before Bruce Wayne was even born. You know what I'm saying? Because he was so much older than him. So no, this is where the shit started from the beginning. This is why I feel the way I feel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. James, you still out there, man? Where you at, man?
Yeah, we got people out here listening. I mean, what's really going on? I see people still liking it and everything. Well, what's going on? Speak on it. What you feel about it?
Interesting view of it too. Remember we were talking before? James had a real interesting view on it too, man.
Yeah.
You kind of go your way. My view is kind of like jaded just because how I look at it. You know what I mean? How I look at shit. You dig? Like, but I can watch it again. I can see it. I can see things from other people's point of view. When I want to do that. But like when I first watched it, I'm just like, nah. They trying to frame this a whole certain type of way. But if it was us, they wouldn't frame it like that, though.
No, and I
But
understand.
that's what
I understand if you look at it like that. You can look at it like that, but you got to look at it like this. If you look at it like that, that's meant to what? Shut you off from even going further. You know, like that's the thing about like this. It's some older folks, older black folks. If they hear any cussing on any album, that automatically shuts them off. They don't even want to hear no more of it. He cussed. I don't. No, it's filth. No, why don't you take the time, get past the cussing, and really listen to what they're talking about. Then you understand it. Versus, oh, I'm offended. I'm so offended. I can't even listen to this. You know you don't met black folks that act like that. No, get
oh
past the
yeah, oh
cussing.
yeah,
Get past the cussing. You know.
definitely. And that's one thing I don't really understand. But see, that's years of programming too, man. You
Right.
know what I mean? That's
Right.
years of programming. Like them old folks, they didn't have a chance to live the life that we live. You know what I'm saying? Like they lived a whole different life. You know what I mean? I don't even know what it'd be like to, you know what I'm saying? Like to live through Jim Crow, they had like 2 water fountains. Like don't none of us know what that really was like. You know what I'm saying? Like that broke down your psyche though. Like man, and then everything that was ours was like lower class. It was like not as good as theirs. You know what I'm saying? Like they'd make it so they water fountain was cold, and ours was like lukewarm,
Right.
and we still had to drink it. You know what I mean? Like you couldn't walk down the sidewalk if it was like a European walking down the sidewalk. You had to go walking in the street. Like we can't even comprehend how that is, but that had to do something to them people's psyche. You know what I mean? Like to their brain, like just to deal with that. You know, even past slavery. I'm talking about Jim Crow, and we got to go to the back of the movie theater. We can't walk in the front. We got to walk to the back. Like that's it, you know. So I can understand that a little bit, and I think we would have been a lot better off without religion. You know, just being spiritual, figuring out what we used to be, and not just, you know, being all religious and all that, man. Like we'd be better off, you know. I think, in my opinion. That's just me, though. Like I'm spiritual. I'm not really religious. I'm spiritual. So I can kind of understand them, though, man. You talking about years and years of being depressed and broken down, you know, like. And then I guess on Sundays, like that, she just made them feel better, you know. They could just gather and worship and, you know, sing and throw some money in the till and go home and pray that thing gonna be all right, you know. I don't see nobody saying nothing.
Yeah, it's everybody in here, but nobody's saying nothing. Come on, I know I got all the chat open. You can say something. I mean, if you don't, I know if you don't seen it, just say, yeah, I done seen the Joker movie, or I'm gonna have to see it, or something like that. You got to say something. I mean, we essentially broke down damn near every part I could probably say within the movie. Now, I could probably say at the beginning, think about it. You know, he was wearing a fake clown mask. Like I said, that means he was in the sleeping stage. You know, the artificial clown. But he turned into the real Joker at the end. You know, his hair was really green. He was really made up. It wasn't no mask or nothing like that. He was really like he woke up after those drugs wore off. He wasn't medicated no more. That was him living his life how he felt it. It was no more compressing down all the garbage, all the shit that society was saying that he was. He was living his life as how he felt, even if it may looked fucked up. You know, because essentially, people with money, society, you know, make things look a certain way when it's really fucked up. But it's like, you know what, you can't say nothing because they're in these positions, and you know, we're supposed to listen. They know the greater good for us. Fuck that. And they don't always know the greater good. That's why we gotta call people out when we see it. Don't compress that shit down.
And even when they do know the greater good, they don't necessarily mean that they're gonna do what's for the greater good.
Right.
A lot of folks is all about profit, man. They all about that bag, you know. And the money might not be the root of all evil, but it's a lot of evil in it. There's a lot of evil in getting to it, you know. Sometimes, and then like evil can be legal depending on who you in. You know, like I say all the time, man. It's like when we get a bag, laws change. Everything switch up because they don't want us to have that bag. Not unified, not in those mass numbers. You know what I'm saying? Because then when you got money, people can't do whatever they want to do to you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a reason that they made us an underclass and everything else. It ain't no coincidence. It's a reason.
Now,
It's a reason that shit.
Choice, can you see that comment? Can you see that comment?
Chad Brown, he said, he transformed into something where the killing satisfied him. Yeah, I kind of can agree on that a little bit, but I think he just transformed into who he really was. Like Reek said, he became a butterfly. You know, like he wasn't medicated. He didn't have to deal with the laughing no more. He made the laughing make sense. You know, he lost his mom. So it was a transformation. It was definitely a transformation. I don't know if he's satisfied or no, because I don't think he ever was gonna be satisfied till things right. You know,
Right.
Everybody knows things ain't right. You feel me? Like that's what he really wants, though. He don't want nobody getting beat with a sign. He don't want. You know what I'm saying?
Like that woman getting fucked with on the train. He didn't want that shit. That's why he started laughing, and then the shit came on him. It's like basically fuck with me. You fuck with her, fuck with me. So essentially, he was the anti-hero.
Right. So I think he came in himself, man. Like you said, he woke up. You know, he woke up, and him waking up wasn't what your average person want, but that's just who he is. He was the Joker. So
Right.
It makes sense.
Yeah, he said, yeah, that's the Joker. Yep.
You know, I wouldn't say that. You know, everything he did for a reason, though. Like, he ain't killed a little dude, because little dude ain't do nothing to him.
Right.
He gave Buddy that issue.
He sure did.
He gave Buddy that issue bad, man. Like, that was like, I didn't even see that coming. He gave Buddy that issue, and then he gave that talk show dude that business.
Right.
To the face. And sat there and was like,
Right, did his little dance and everything. Even the people that was sitting next to him, he didn't kill them. He left them alone. He only dealt with people that was fucking with him.
He was like, you gonna laugh at me, man. You gonna put me on TV, man, and make an ass out of me, man. I take this 38 back.
Right, and then take some more of it, too, after I already done downed you.
Oh, man, just thinking about that, man. Like, them two parts is just worth watching a movie for. Like them two parts was just, like, shocking. Like, I know we can spoil them if you ain't seen it, but they still gonna be good, though. They still good. Like, it was like the best parts of the movie, really, in my opinion. You know, because you don't see dude coming when he come out that kitchen with that steak knife. He don't even see it coming. He just talking and yada yada yada. He hit him, man. He hit him like he was a cat in the field joint with a shank, man. Like, he really did. In his own living room or kitchen or whatever, man. That was crazy. And then, like, he ain't trying to hide the body or nothing. He
Nothing.
Was like, he was like, I ain't gonna do it. You can go. I ain't gonna do nothing. Then he just went on about his life. Like, you know, they ain't so the laws finding him or nothing. They just that part just disappeared after that. But
well, it was. Remember when after he left to go to the show, that's when them two cops like, hey, we gotta talk to you. And he got on the train with all them clowns. So they're trying to get at him, and he escaped because they ended up shooting one of the clowns, and they ended up getting their issue for doing what they did. From all the other people that wasn't putting up with that shit.
True. That's fact. So yeah, I guess they probably did eventually end up finding him. They didn't show it though, is what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah, because at the end it shows them. it shows them in a like an insane asylum or whatever, you know. But you figure like this: if they got him out of the cop car, if they crashed the cop car and they got him out of the cop car, it's nothing for them to, you know, cause some issue again and get them out of a sane asylum to do whatever they want to do. Think about the one with Keith Ledger when he was playing the Joker. You know how he did certain things. I mean that's a totally different type of Joker story than this one, but essentially the bad guys was riding, cutting for fucking Joker.
And now that we talking about it though, I don't even consider them bad guys.
Right, right, right.
They was just average people that was with the shit. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like dude that killed Bruce Wayne mama. Like he ain't steal the pearls for no reason. Yeah, it should worth money. Like y'all just out here like, hey, let me get that. You know, like when you push to a certain point, man, folks do drastic things. You know, folks do drastic things. You push the drastic measures as they call it. You know.
That's just like think about it like this. People think, oh well, I can come up through the area with this chinchilla mink and be in the regular everyday Joe's corner store pulling out a knot of money and things like that by myself. What do you think can happen? Now, in a perfect world, nobody should fuck with you. But in a world where people are really not having money, you're gonna get your issue. Someone's gonna press you for the shit you may have because essentially it's like you flossing in motherfuckers' faces, you know.
Yeah, just living your everyday life, but you doing more than the most.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're doing more than the most. Now, I mean, if you got, you got your squad with you, that's a whole different thing. You know what I mean? If everybody's eating, that's a whole different thing. But solo dolo, just maybe you and your chick. No, I wouldn't advise. I wouldn't advise it because there's so many people that's hurt, man. So many people that's hurt. And not saying everybody a victim, but anybody can be a victim in the wrong place, wrong time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Anybody can be a victim. It's like in the movie when dude caught him in the bathroom. I thought he was gonna give him an issue in the bathroom.
Yeah, I thought that too. And he could have. Cause he stalked them out real good. He stalked them good. He found an opportunity. Oh, they don't want nobody to come in here because he's in here. He's high profile. Let me put on this usher suit. Then he seen him going to the bathroom. He could have got him.
But he didn't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he did because that's his daddy though.
Right,
you know
right.
I mean? Like that's probably the only reason he was like, man, I'm gonna ask this punk if he really my father and see what he say.
Right.
And that's all he wanted. Dude gonna punch him and shit. I'm like, oh man, he couldn't catch him.
Right.
He couldn't catch him. Like he didn't even have to do that. Then he just, you know what I mean? He put his hands on my man and then just was like, yeah, straighten his tie up. Like, man, please. That shit don't work like that in the real world. Yeah, I mean, for real, they would have thought that punk in the style. Like, but yeah, well, man, you can call in, man, beat your Pete.
Right, man.
I think Lisa gone.
Yeah, I think she is too. But like I said, there's people there, but people ain't saying nothing. Let me drop the hotline number again. Try to get some people to chime in.
And we can always send out to a freestyle too, man.
Right, because we done essentially covered everything, like I said, that needs to be covered. People hear the replay like, man, you done covered everything. I don't think it's one part I left out in the movie. Trying to think what part, if I did leave out anything. Okay, at the beginning when he was sitting in the mirror, he was doing a fake smile and he was damn near crying when he was, putting his fingers in his mouth trying to smile. But he did the same thing at the end, and it's genuine. His face was all bloody and everything, and it was a genuine smile. So from a fake smile at the beginning to a real smile, a real embittered, bloody smile at the end. That was real because everybody was riding for him when he was standing up on cop car and everything, just cheering them on in anarchy.
He felt like he had accomplished something.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like he felt like he got his point across because he seen all these people with the mask and you know what I mean. They got him out the car and everything. Like so, he felt like he was the man. You know,
Right.
in my opinion, you know that's how that's how you feel when you finally make it to the top. You know, he got
And we can put this in another form. It doesn't have to because there's so many forms you could put it in. Think about it at the beginning. He could be looked at as green. Someone if people want to look at it as game, like yeah, he done been weathering the storm, but at the end, he really raised up to be the bosses of shit. You know, people was really rocking with his way of thinking. You know what I'm saying? That's almost like being a gentleman leisure in the game. He's in the game. He done weathered the storm. He done put in his work for all this. It wasn't like at the beginning, you know, he was getting treated like a sucker and all that. No, he had to weather the storm. He had to go through some things. He had to see some pain and find out some shit that he didn't know about. To, you know, come up to be a boss like he did at the end, you know?
Yeah, and that he did. Shit. Yeah. You got free from that damn cop car, well, goddamn it, shit. That's a hell of a feat, Jack.
Right.
That's a hell of a feat. You call it shot. You know what I mean? Like, that's like, you know, cats that used to be out here like free moving. Cats still out here like that. You know what I mean? And I ain't even my man, but my man ain't deserve no 300 years, man. That's a lot of time, man. Can't nobody even never do that much time. That shit just crazy. You know, like, how you lock somebody up, then lock somebody up again when they already locked up? But like, that's the most devious shit ever.
But that's more so. I mean, of course, it's a message for him, but it's more a message for the masses. Like, see what we did to him, we'll do that to anybody else. Matter of fact, think of it like this. I don't know if you've seen this movie. See, I'm dropping good movies that people need to watch. Unforgiven with Clint Eastwood. Have you ever seen that?
Is that a Western?
Yeah, that's a good movie. A lot of people think, oh, Western Clint. Well, matter of fact, Morgan Freeman's in there. Morgan Freeman's his partner. You know, Morgan Freeman knew, you know, Clint Eastwood's character when Clint Eastwood was a dirty motherfucker. But Clint Eastwood turned his life around in the movie, and he's like, you know what? I married a church-fearing woman, and I'm raising these kids. She passed away. I got a different life. And essentially, Morgan Freeman was like, man, I remember you used to kill motherfuckers, and they didn't even be having, you know, asking for it. And he's like, oh, that life is past. I don't drink or nothing. So essentially, this little young dude comes along and he's like, you know what? They cut this woman up real bad. He's putting a lot of extra shit on the thing to get them to come in with him to kill these people for these whores that's in this whorehouse. So essentially, I'll make a long story short. Morgan Freeman ends up getting killed by the law in that town. And they hang his body up in front of the whole town. And like, this is what happens to, you know, people that try to come and avenge the deaths of, you know, whoever. So when Clint Eastwood finds that out, it's like, man, he didn't even have nothing to do with that shit. You know, it was just me that did all this shit. So he comes back into town and kills all the motherfuckers that, you know, did wrong to him and to the people. He's like, you know what? If y'all don't take his body down and bury him proper, I'm gonna come and kill the rest of you motherfuckers. I mean, that movie is good, but a lot of times people just see it like, I don't understand it. But if you get to watching, you're like, man, this could be married onto different parts of life. Like, you know, you don't have a partner that went down unwrongfully, and then his partner come avenge the death for all the motherfuckers that, you know, did some wrong. That's a reason to watch that movie, Unforgiven. If you ain't watched it, look it up, get it. If you got on Fire Stick, whatever, look it up. That's a good movie to watch. Another one I'll recommend, Tombstone. Tombstone's another good movie to watch. Western, another good movie to watch. It's like they go to this town, essentially, you know, they used to be law enforcement. They ain't with that no more. They just want to make money. But with them turning a blind eye, you know, this other gang that they call the Cowboys is, you know, causing havoc. And they know that they used to be law enforcement or whatever, used to be with a different type of life that they're with now. and it's like they almost want to shit on them just because to try to intimidate them. Like, no, we's the ones that run this whole shit, and they get in a conflict, and the people that really rock with him, side with him. So it's like almost taking sides of this mindset versus that mindset. I won't say good or bad, but this mindset versus that mindset, and who's gonna be victorious at the end.
Like some westerns, huh, bro?
Yeah, shit. That's all my pops used to be playing all the time. But then it's like I used to didn't like them. But then when I started getting older and kind of seeing the meaning out of them, like, man, I'm pulling the meanings out of these movies. Not so much horses and in a different time and stage. The meanings, the storylines are still the same. That could carry on to whenever time frame it is, from horsey buggy days to Buck Rogers flying cars days. I mean, the storylines are still the same. It's about interaction and shit.
The wisdom.
Right, right.
The wisdom resonates.
Right.
Yeah, I feel you. What's that? What's the DNA joint you just said? Never lie down, or
what you said? Which movie?
Yeah, the movie you just referenced. What's the name of it?
Never Die Alone. Never Die Alone.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that joint out.
All right.
Check that joint out. Cause DMX, he's in one of my favorite movies of all time, Belly.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta check out Never, because like I said, Never Die Alone. I want to say that's actually not an Iceberg Slim book, but a Donald Goins book.
Yeah. But, yeah, 7 people, ain't nobody saying nothing. We must have some undesirables in the room, man. Low key.
Okay, Shop Brown said, "Peace, family, got to roll." Okay, I'm glad you chimed in. Matter of fact, speaking to the people that are catching this on a replay, hey, if you haven't checked out those movies I named, Never Die Alone, that features DMX, Clint Eastwood movie, Unforgiven, with Morgan Freeman in it, and Tombstone with Val Kilmer, Kurt Russell. There's a few other people that's up in there. That's a good movie.
I want to say it was real interesting talking to Brad and Barbara when we talked to him on the last podcast. Man, that was real interesting,
Right.
And if you out there listening, I appreciate the wisdom and the advice, but it was just interesting to hear his story, how, he's been cutting 10, 20 years or whatever. Now he's moving on to the man wigs, as I call them, and everything. And really, I don't really understand that, but if that's what people want to do with their money, that's fine, but I don't know. I think it's a little weird.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I look at it like this. If someone done lost their hair way before, I guess, whatever time it is, they want to try to do something to kind of, because think about it like this, some dudes make, I mean, I don't have no problem with it because I got my hair, but, some dudes probably been turned down because they bald. You know what I'm saying? So they figure if they got something that look like it's real deal, that they are more likely a chance to have opportunity in action at a female or something like that. That's how I look at it.
But then again, you gotta maintain it. You know what I'm saying? It's highly expensive. Like you can't just jump in the pool or jump in the shower with it. So like you might go on a vacation or something and you can't even do what you want to do. You know what I mean? Like let's say you go on Six Flags and then your dress fly off. Like you're gonna be looking crazy. You know what I mean? When you're gonna be looking crazy just like a chick when like she come and lay up and stuff and then she take her wig off. Like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like, wow. That's the big shocker, man. Like, that's, to most people, you feel me? Hey, I don't know. But it was nice to hear about, you know what I mean? Like, you take it to the next level or whatever, man. But
right.
It's just like, weird. It came out of nowhere, and it's just like, it's new. So it's really weird. I don't think nobody even where I'm at doing that shit. I don't know. I might have to. I'm gonna ask my guy next time I go to the shop. You know what I mean? Like, man, you who are you doing man with? You know what I mean? I want to see if somebody say they do it.
Right. Well, I know it's dudes that be
Oh,
getting dread extensions now. It's people that be doing that. Cause I know some Vikings that be getting dread extensions that be playing the Vikings that be doing that.
see, I don't understand that, man. That's just doing too much, man. That
True.
ain't authentic, man. Just be authentic. You know what I mean? Like, literally your hairline was like, to me, it was like sort of kind of like a rite of passage. You know what I'm saying? Like, because cats that got their hairline, you know, they gotta get haircuts and everything else. But then, hey, when you recede, you just rock that ball head. Like, I'm up there with Jordan. Shit, shiny head. What's wrong with that? You know, I mean, and some women actually like that. You
Yeah,
know,
that's
I guess
true.
it just depends on who you is, man. You
Right.
know, it just depends on who you is. You feel me? Like, some chicks like that shiny ass bald head. It's like masculine. You know what I mean? Like,
But you know, some people can't really rock a right ball head because they got them rolls in the back of their head, and depending on what size they is and all that. So I mean, come on, you know, some of them can't really rock it like they're like, damn, you got a gang of foes back there. You
oh
know,
man, what's wrong with the Jordan Jefferson though, man? You know, he had the receding hairline with the fro around it, looking like a half donut. You dig?
that turns in more to the clown look. Think about that, because think about what we was just watching at the beginning. He had that kind of wig thing on where it looked like he was bald and the hair was around. He was a clown, you know. When really at the end he said he wants to be addressed as Joker, not the clown no more. He's Joker. Joker's different than a clown. He's not your average everyday, big funny shoes and all that kind of shit. This motherfucker is with the shit.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. But yeah, it's cool to hear that input, man. That's why I really wanted to ask dude the question, man. You know, how you take it from the bottom to the top. You know, I mean, I know it takes hard work. You gotta have some skills and all that, but just for anybody out there listening, though, just to know it's possible. And you know what I'm saying? This guy in New York doing $30 haircuts and, you know, whatever. You know, I put my input, James put his input, you know, but, you know, we always gonna need barbers out here, man. You know, we always gonna need barbers.
And I want to
Can't
say
just get plenty on
it
here.
wasn't James on the line. That was Malik out of Philly. That was on there with Love the Barber.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah. But, you know, we were just talking different prices and everything else. I mean, yeah.
right,
$30 for a haircut, that's a lot of money though, man.
right. That $17 for a shot got me like woo.
Oh yeah, man, that was crazy. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. That's like some Dubai price. Uh, that's some Dubai prices.
What do you say,
Like I don't even.
$2,200
He
for a
said
one
that's up.
bedroom? He said 2,200 for a one
Yeah.
bedroom. Like whoo.
No, I think he said two. I think he said two. He said
Oh, I
two
think he said
bedrooms.
22
Like
for renting a shop or something like that, a space, for a shop or something like that.
no, I thought he said 2,200 for a two bedroom.
Oh,
That's still a hell of a lot of money.
right.
But shit, where I'm at, that's a whole mortgage. That's some more shit.
Hmm.
That's a mortgage and a car note where I'm at.
Hmm.
You know, kind of reason I like where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you got all the aspects too. I mean, shit, you can go get $1 million house downtown, but 2,200, that'll put you in something nice. That'll put you in something nice. You know, like you would think you a king. Shit, you would think you a king for 2,200 around here. But then again, I was watching something on the tube, man. I'm kind of in the real estate, man. I seen this shit that was like 890,000 something in Vegas. I was just like, man, I kind of like the town, but man, you're talking almost $1 million. I ain't gonna give you that for no condo. Like, it's crazy.
But just think, even if like you just got put into the position of having money like that, I still couldn't see just okay, let me just do that. No, it's more reasonable spots where you can, you know, You still have the same fun that they're gonna assume to have in them type of places. Because essentially, you just making whoever owns that joint that much more richer. You know.
Yeah, it was like a new subdivision too. It was just like it was right next to somebody else. I'm like, man, I wouldn't even want that. I couldn't even spend that type of money, look out the window and see somebody else's window. I might as well be in the hood. Like that type of money, I think I need some land and some space, and you know what I mean.
Right.
Driveway take me 5 minutes to drive up to my house, and a gate at the end of it. Like, no, I can't. That's crazy, man. You know, it's people in this world with ridiculous amounts of money, man. They just and I don't think they think. I think because they rich, they don't think like regular people.
No, they don't.
You know what I mean? So go ahead.
No, I was agreeing with you. I said they don't think like you do.
Like the dude who bought the Berkey car, like I could see if a chick bought that, like she was like Beyonce or Kardashian or somebody, like that'll make sense. But why would a dude buy that? Like, and he ain't really referenced to having a wife or nothing. I don't know. That was just the weirdest little.
But then the thing about like this, I just thought about this when you said that. What if that dude really has some type of what's the word I'm looking for? If he was really invested in that company some kind of way, like he had connections to it. So for him doing that or portraying like he's doing that, that's making people want to invest in that business. So, you know,
it was like promotion.
yeah, like promotion is so to say, you know. So, you know, the stockholders like, you know what? Yeah, we're seeing this on this program now. Now the stock is doing good and going up because it's showing that you know he's buying this and stuff like that. You know, you never know. It's so
I
many.
mean, that makes sense, but I'm just talking about, man, when I'm watching it, and you gotta flip up a back hatch to get like 2 bags, and then the back seat got 2 bags. I was just like, who spends this type of money on this shit? Like, just give me a regular Lambo with some things on it. I might dip them in gold or something, and I'm gonna roll up into the top there. I'm not.
But think about it like this. I think every car maker done had something like that where they made a car from a designer. Like Lincoln used to have Bill Blass. Even back in the day, Seville had a Gucci Seville. It was all done by Gucci. Gucci interior, Gucci bags, and all that. You can look it up. A lot of people don't really know about that. It was a Gucci Seville. The first Sevilles that came out back in probably 76, 77. Gucci Sevilles. It had nothing but Gucci in it. You don't really see them Sevilles no more because they're rare. But it was all done up in Gucci.
Right. Right, because half, pretty much couldn't nobody afford them things.
Right, right.
And I think they said that the car I'm talking about was Berkey did it, man. It was like multi-million. So this dude probably spent like $3-4 million on the car. I'm just like, bro, like, I wish I could have that type of money. I wouldn't be spending on that, but it must be nice, you know. Like, it sounds good, you know. It was a nice car, but if they can keep the bag, just give me the regular edition. I'm straight on that other extra shit, you know. But that's one thing about when you got money, though. It's like you do things to be different, you know. Like we were talking about the cat and the chinchilla with the knot at the corner stuff. You know what I'm saying? You don't just go buy no chinchilla to be ready. You know, you buy it because most people ain't got it. You know, most people can't afford no $1,000, multi-$1,000 coat.
Right.
You know, like just for the winter, just for a few months. You know, like people be looking at me like crazy when I tell them what I pay for my pellet. Like I want nothing but like $750. Like
right.
Like damn, they're like $7. Like yeah, it's a pellet. Like they don't even make these no more.
Right.
You know, like
leather always lasts as long as you take care of it.
Yeah. I remember I was out the catch out the bar, and I'm like, man, I always want to sell my coat, man. I'm like, you like, man, what you want for it, man? I'm like, man, I always want to sell it, man. Hey, what you mean? I guess, man, give me 5. Shit, that's a lot. Okay, well, you don't want it.
Right.
Man, I took care of my coat. That, man, I ain't got I don't like that. I ain't got no burns in my throat, man. Please. You ain't gonna find me like this no more. Then I went to my tailor, and he told me they don't even make them no more. I was so bad, like, damn, man. Like, not only way you gonna have one, I want from somebody, man. I'm like, man, that's crazy.
I'll say this, since nobody's commenting, hopefully, if you ain't watched the Joker movie, watch it with through the eyes that I'm painting the story, or the way to interpret the story, not how I'm painting the story, the way I'm interpreting the story, and hopefully you can see it the way I see it. Hopefully you can actually see it the way that Choice is seeing it, because you can't look at it the way Choice is looking at it, but also look at it this way. There's so many ways you can look at that movie, and you might find something that I missed or that Choice missed. And if that's the case, voice it in the comment section, and I may revisit this depending on if we get any response. And if not, I still may talk about it, because I still think it's going to be a part 2 made to that initial one that came out. But I'm glad you chimed in, Choice. We've been on 115 minutes. Nobody's saying nothing, so that must mean, hey, it's time to say goodbye.
You seen Valley of the Pharaoh came in, all right?
Yeah, he said right. I guess that he was talking about, whatever he was speaking on. That was a while ago, but yeah.
Indeed. Well, all right then, brother. Salutations and blessings to you, man, as usual, man. Everybody stay safe, stay aware, man.
Most definitely. And that being said, we out.